Today I will refresh it a little to you, because behind the kaleidoscope of foreign cars and our brands we forget a lot. ZIS 5. Someone will say that there is nothing special in it, that this is just a car, an ordinary truck, of which countless, and such a person will be absolutely right. But for our country, this truck is a little more than just a truck. We will not delve into history. It is standard for most domestic cars. You already know this. ZIS has become the further development of the AM03 truck, which was a rethinking version of the American truck Autocar SA. The Stalin plant began to assemble AM02 from imported components. But the abandonment of foreign and the introduction of updates led to the appearance of ZIS 5. A car capacity of 3 tons, unlike the progenitor. It could drag only 2.5 tons. I will now reveal a terrible secret to you. We have a 1956 car, one of the very latter, and in fact, this is UralZIS, but not the 355th. Dimitri and I, my friend blogger, argue. I claim that this is a transitional model, and he says that most likely it was collected from what was at hand, well, relatively speaking, when they repaired. I will say that this is a transitional model to the 355th. Well, full, or how much is there? What a gasoline sensor, the best sensor in the world. What a ruler.
8 gallons.
Wow, cool. And again, let's delve into history. For understanding, the first ZISs left the assembly line in 1933 in Moscow and were produced for 15 years, until 1948. During the Great Patriotic War, the structure was simplified, and production was established in other cities, in Ulyanovsk, UlZIS, from 1942 to 1944, in Myasa, UralZIS, from 1944 to 1955. But in 1956 in the Urals, they began to switch to the 355th model, outwardly the same, but with changes. The frame is the basis of the foundations for the truck. It is like the spine for a person, because, you understand, all the organs of the truck are attached to it. It often broke down, because the drivers believed in the miracle of swear words, and loaded not 3 tons, but under 5. The swear words continued to flow, and the frame crumbled and broke. Fracture of the frame is a normal phenomenon of those years. If we talk about the suspension, then it hangs on the springs. The rear axle is mounted on 2 packages, the main one consisting of 10 sheets of springs, and 7 leaf-sprung springs are installed above. There are no shock absorbers at the rear, of course, and there were none. Although the truck, but the frame is elegant, see how it bends towards the spring. In a spring, in a pack, 11 sheets. The mount is threaded on the hinge pins, and they must be constantly lubricated. There are oilers everywhere. The rear part of the spring on the earring. The pivot mechanism of the kingpin is as it is, just lubricated on time and do not know grief. Hoses for hydraulic brakes, they are here both in front and behind. Not mechanical, as on early machines. And here's something else, the cardan here is interesting. There are no ordinary crosses, it has a garden spicer hinge. It's like an ordinary cross, but so glamorous. In the middle is not a cross, but a circle, and everything is covered with a casing. The main difference between the ZIS 5 and the 355th, in confirmation of my theory of transitivity, is that they are assembled from different pieces. Well guys, so after all, the legend is more beautiful. Difficult. So, this is the engine. For starters, this cast iron thing is tightly screwed to the frame and all the vibrations are transmitted to your dental crowns. In fact, this is still the same Hercules motor from America, installed on AMO, with the same characteristics that you have already heard about, only the volume is slightly increased. 6-cylinder, 4-stroke, working by carburation of light fuel according to the Otto cycle, as it is written in the Smart Book. Displacement 338 cubic inches, maximum torque 279 Newton meters at 1,200 RPM. The maximum power is 75 horsepower at 2,400 RPM. Open-type cooling system, without hermetic radiator caps, thermostats, and shutters. It boiled, and so you will see, there is a gasoline pump. And the tank is on the street, and not under the seat, because once again, this is UralZIS. An oil filter, felt, by the way, for the repair of a ZIS, only 10 sizes of wrenches are needed, where the most common one is 17. The electrical equipment here is the most primitive. Of the lighting fixtures, headlights, and that's it, behind the wolf's eye of the size. Onboard voltage 6 volts, but the most unusual, today, is a plus on the mass. And now I propose to go to the village toilet. I didn't call it that, but the drivers, and now you will understand why. Became interesting? But first, let's look under the seat. In the real ZIS-5 the tank was under the seat, and what do we have here? I'm waiting for your suggestions. Now there is a toolbox here. Pay attention, and this is the pride of Dmitry, a real jack from the ZIS-5. A crooked starter and everything is made of wood, and the wood, by the way, is also real, like in the wagons, in the carriages. We do not remember about toilets. What about the cab? Wooden frame, sheathed with metal, and sometimes not sheathed with metal. These wings are really beautiful wings. The roof is covered with leatherette and painted with black paint. Well, the gaps are as thick as a finger. Like a porch in the country, how do you like glass, or rather glasses? But there is a lot of space. It is felt that this is not a narrow lorry. About devices. Speedometer, slider, ammeter, water, pressure gauge. Well, the pressure gauge. Handbrake, gear knob. So, starting the engine, but first look at the original key. Amazing, right? It seems to me that Pinocchio was looking for just such. Paste, push, rotate, and on the starter with your foot. The gear ratio of the first speed is 6.59, a quiet shorty. It's only good in mud or under full load. Double squeeze. Oh, where are you the third? Here it is. It's too close to the first one, and here I am brandishing a poker. This is the turning radius, gentlemen, I'll tell you. Very huge, just unbelievably huge. Well, the steering wheel itself, I want to tell you, is very hard to turn. The usual turn, but I didn't fit in. Okay, let's write it off as incompetence. And on top of everything else, this car still has amazing backlash. Oh, I wanted to switch to the second, but I didn't have time, I stopped. Returning to the coast. And how everything is buzzing here. And the engine makes its own sounds, and the exhaust system, and the transmission sings unknown melodies, and the autumn breeze blows through the cracks. It's good that it doesn't throw leaves. The cabin is shaking godlessly, because of the tightly trimmed motor to the frame. I have already spoken about this, but small bumps are overcome cheerfully, and unloaded ass bounces, rattling everyone. The brakes perform their direct function, they slow down, and that's good. In general, for a comfortable ride you need to get used to the car. The hardest pedal here is the clutch, and the car has absolutely no overrun. You release the accelerator pedal and the car decelerates confidently, but not completely, and this is not very good. The engine is so traction that when it warms up, it pulls even without gas. You release the pedal and lo and behold, the car is moving. And when it is warmed up, it does not matter to it what to eat, even kerosene. The main thing is to burn. The car turned out to be successful and practical. Consumption was within the normal range, 11 to 13 gallons per 100 miles. The maximum speed downhill is 40 miles per hour. I have already spoken about maintainability. The average mileage before the overhaul was 40,000 miles, but sometimes with caring drivers it reached 60,000. And at that time it was very much, if, on average, an ordinary Zahar Ivanovich rolled no more than 25 miles per day. I'm talking about ordinary times, and not about the times of the Great Patriotic War and socialist construction projects. By the way, one more interesting point, the ZIS became the first domestic car that was exported, and very successfully. Please note, why this particular car only a select few know. The main difference from conventional cars, a shiny radiator lining and nickel-plated bumpers from a lorry. Because you need to show off at all times. The countries were serious: Bulgaria, Spain, Romania, Turkey, Iraq, Iran, China, Afghanistan, Mongolia. Well, super serious: Latvia, Lithuania, and Estonia. It is not known how many cars were produced in total. The numbers vary, since car production was scattered throughout the USSR. How many cars are left alive? There is still a lot for us to admire, and it pleases. Well, thanks again to Dmitry, the owner of the car. He has something else, and I'll show it to you. You know where to look for me. And the hunt continues.